Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cool Water Show where we talk about the Real Housewives Universe over here on Silent Podcast. I almost said on Salt Lake City, which whatever. um, so yeah, over here on Silent Podcast, we're anything but silent. I'm Kari and I'm joined by my co-host Katie. Katie, hi, how are you?
I'm good. We have a lot of things to talk about today.
hmm
But I'm good. I mean, it's Saturday. I survived my first week back at work after the holiday, which is always like the hardest week to go back to work if you work in an office and you actually can relax during the holiday. So I'm good. I'm here. I'm alive.
You made it. Yeah, I worked
How are
through the
you?
holidays, so I
Yeah.
didn't have a transition. I just was, it was nice having like two back-to-back 3-day weekends, and then we get another one coming up with MLK. So
Yes.
I'm happy about that. But otherwise, I'm good. As you know, we played Fix What's Wrong with Carrie's setup for about
Mm-hmm.
35 minutes before starting. Um, so I'm in the dream setup now because I'm not skipping and
Yeah.
things are working. Things are
We were
working.
having some sound issues, but they will be solved. They are solved now and they will be solved moving forward. So it'll be
Yeah, they'll
great.
be better solved tomorrow, between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. when I get a new
Hopefully, it doesn't
microphone.
come at like 4 a.m. and they don't ring your doorbell.
We don't even have a working doorbell,
Oh,
which
okay.
is fine.
Perfect.
I like my life that way. Like I
Yeah.
don't need people ringing my doorbell. Leave the food on the doorstep. I live in like a good part where of Chicago where people aren't stealing shit off of
Oh,
our
good.
doorsteps. Um, my old apartment, we had stuff stolen like
Mm.
pretty regularly.
It happens here
So
too.
yeah, luck out. And also our like we have like a front, I don't want to say like deck. It's not porch. It's very small, whatever you'd want to call that. It has a little area where you can kind of like put a package behind there,
Oh,
and
good.
you wouldn't see it unless you're like up on the stairs specifically looking
Oh,
for
okay.
it.
That's good.
So we're good. We'll get new microphone tomorrow. What a time to be alive.
Exciting.
Yes. And Pokemon doesn't get here till Friday that I accidentally ordered. I mean, not Friday, Monday.
Monday.
So stupid. Um, anyway, there's been so much that's happened, and like there was a 24-hour period where we just had like a couple of big housewives news drops
Yeah.
on us.
I want to
First
ask
and
you what your
foremost,
setup was yesterday for the Jen Shaw trial because I'll talk about mine.
okay, well, first of all, you saw me trying to maneuver getting my computer from one side of my desk to the other.
Yes. Hmm.
So, my personal computer with text to you, Reddit, this overall Twitter, and then another tab of that like insider scoop Twitter
Yep.
that was
Hmm.
like basically live tweeting what was
Yes.
happening in the
Thank you to
courtroom.
them, by
Who,
the way. Inner City
yeah,
Press, I think they're called. Like, shout
yeah,
out to them for doing the Lord's work yesterday.
truly a hero. And so I had that going, and then my work computer, my second screen, because I still had to work. Like, I'm currently in
Oh,
a very busy time of my life of work because I am taking over for a woman who is going on maternity leave. So
ooh.
I'm doing my job and her job. And for
Yeah.
some reason, my job has decided to like give me a ton of responsibilities,
Hmm.
forget the ones that have to go with her job. So I was kind of just like rotating through things. Like, okay, let me do a little bit of this. And then like open this tab, refresh it, like check what Reddit's saying, see if you texted me, and then back
Yeah.
to that.
I was pretty similar.
Yours,
I was on my work computer. Um, And luckily, yesterday was really slow for me at work. I didn't have any meetings, thankfully, which if I did, I think I probably would have canceled them. And I woke up and I was like, should I take a shower now? Because it was like 9:30 and I was like, just sitting at my computer and I was like, do I take a shower now or do I just wait until after? Because like I know this starts at 10. So maybe I'll just like, but then I was like, no, I need to shower now and be ready for 10 o'clock on the dot. So then I can just sit and veg out. And I'm lucky I did because it was like 2 hour long. It was a 2 hour long
mm-hmm.
ordeal. It was not like a 5 minute,
Yeah.
like, okay, here's your sentence.
Yeah. I had one meeting during it, but luckily I was able to Refresh. Oh, actually, I forgot. Part of that meeting I was in. I needed to use the e-learning computer, which means like it's a whole another
Oh my
additional
God.
computer. So I had that on my desk, but it wasn't working. Or was not that it wasn't working, but there was something that wasn't working. So while things were going on, I had an additional computer I need to like keep checking things with because at one point during all that, I was on the phone with the help desk being like, help
Oh my
me.
God.
So I was truly multitasking yesterday, but really the person who, like that Twitter feed we were talking about, hero.
A complete hero. I feel like I don't know if it was like Twitter is an issue or just like it's me. Maybe it's a combination of the two. But I felt like I kept having to like refresh the page. I was like, can like a new tweet just like show up? Like, do I have to keep refreshing? And then I would have to like click into the thread because there were responses that weren't showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need the up to date info because I was in four different Reddit mega threads were created before she
Oh,
even got sentenced. There were four threads. I guess because they all were hitting capacity of like I don't know, are there comment
yeah. Oh,
capacity?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there were four mega threads of this, and we got to the fourth. I think maybe the third one before sentencing, and then once the sentencing happened, they opened a fourth one. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
rapidly refreshing. I had two windows open, and then like also
Yeah.
just checking Slack to see if anyone needed me for anything, which they did not. So which was great.
It's like they knew. However,
Yeah.
someone who does need something from me right now is my dog. Oh, my
Mm.
microphone is currently my AirPods, so I can keep talking.
Oh,
That's,
perfect.
yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the actual sentencing.
Yes.
Um, I I know you were too, but like I just found this enraging. Nitro, you just asked me to let you out, and now you came back in. Make up your mind. It's like he wants to have access,
Yeah.
but doesn't want to be in here. I'm just gonna close it. Um, First of all, what I didn't understand, and I said this to you, was like, why are we doing this whole song and fucking dance?
I
Because
don't
at the
know.
very beginning, the judge was like, I'm definitely giving you more than, was it 36 months she asked
Yeah,
for?
she asked for three
And
years.
he's like, but I'm not going to sentence you to like the maximum.
Yeah.
So it'll be somewhere in between. So clearly, you already knew. Well, is the judge a man?
I don't know. I'm actually
Okay,
not sure. I thought the judge was a woman, but I'm not sure.
I'm just saying he, which I guess is like my internalized misogyny that judges are men. Um, so sorry about that to all women. Women are definitely judges too.
Mm.
Um, so I just I'm like, why are we doing this? You already know what you're gonna do. Like, why is her lawyer saying all these things, which like made a total fool of the
Okay, can we
whole
talk about the
situation?
lawyer for a second? Like, is her lawyer Michael Scott? Because this is like some of the stuff her lawyer was saying was truly just out of control, in my opinion. Like, was like almost more incriminating. It felt like.
Wasn't it like respect the elders
Yes, I'll bring it
and
up. I have some links here. I can bring them up and
I was
read
gonna
some
say I
of the
should
choice
pull up
quotes. I wanted to do that
the
beforehand and I forgot.
person's Twitter that we kept talking about, but I
Yes,
like
Inner City
unfollowed them because I'm like,
Press.
I don't need to follow them anymore.
I was just like
They were
every time
like,
I refreshed, I was watching their follower count just go up, which like shout out to them. Good for you. You deserved
yeah,
it. Yes, they said, let me just scroll down to it. Um, well, first they said Jen hoped that the TV spotlight would hide her pain. She spent years trying to hide her feelings, to fake it until she makes it. She tried not to see the people who lost money. Her original fraud was on herself. Like, what? The fraud was on herself? Like, yeah, because you got caught? Is that why the fraud was on yourself? Like, I'm just confused as to why you would say that. She
I
saw
don't.
info from the victims and pled guilty. So she's basically saying that Jen saw the victim impact statements that are public now. You can read them. I've read them. It's five of them anyway. I think five of them are public, but there's like thousands of victims in this. And that made her decide to plead guilty, which is a complete joke. Like, that's definitely not true. You took the plea deal because you would have gotten way more jail time if you didn't take the plea deal because all of your co-conspirators flipped on you.
Yeah, I just hate that it's like blatant lying.
Complete. Complete. She saw the info from the victims and pled guilty. She began on Hawaii, a land of elders. Now
Oh,
elders, her
that part.
victims, are teaching her. She regrets the mistakes she has made. She is sorry. She had faith in our justice system. Jen will pay her debt to society. It's like, what? And it felt like the judge was like going in on Jen. But then when the sentencing came, it didn't feel that way at all because I'm shocked. I mean, should we bury the lead here? Is that the right word to say? Bury the lead? I don't know. She got 6.5 years
Yeah.
with 5 years supervised release after the fact. So 11 years total, or 11 and a half years total, I guess. 6.5 years of jail time, which she probably won't serve all of it, but I think and I don't know this for sure, but I read that she's required to serve 85% of it.
Okay, so 0.85 times it's 78 months, right?
Yes, because I definitely I didn't Google
It's
it, but I
78
definitely
divided
did
by
the math.
12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which everybody
So
on the internet was like,
66.
"Dear Google.com, what is how many months are 70 or how many years is 70 months?" I'm like, I'm so glad it's not just me that had no clue.
So 85% would still be 5.5 years.
Okay.
5.525. So we'll just round it to a nice
Okay.
5.5 there.
Okay. And then she'll have 5 years supervised release after she's out. So like probation, I guess.
Yeah, so she was too important to talk to the victims, is what the judge was saying. And
Yeah.
like,
The
she
judge
did
asked
talk
about her
about the
Justice for
victims.
Jen merchandise on her website.
Yes. Oh my gosh. She, like, I don't know, the way she handled it, plus, like, being on TV, like, this week's episode
Yeah.
of Salt Lake City was so disgusting to watch.
Yeah. I think every single one has been up to this point, but yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah, everyone has, with like the way that she's just been playing the victim all in all this, and in this week when she was like, "Did I mess up my son's life? Like,
Like,
am I?"
yes, you did, but you
Yeah,
didn't
but you made
care
the
because you're
choice
a
to 10
selfish
plus years
asshole.
ago.
Right.
Yeah, like she's not upset about what she's done. She's
She's
only
upset she
upset
got
that she
caught.
got caught,
Yeah. And that she
and
can't weasel her way out of it.
it's just disgust. Like, the whole thing is disgusting in a way that, like, I don't want to see. I've not enjoyed this season of Salt Lake City
No.
at all. And then, especially, like, I watched it last night slash this morning because I fell asleep during it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with having followed along with this whole sentencing and seeing like what she's trying to portray on TV, but then also saying like, well, the TV show is so heavily scripted. Okay, so clearly, like, you are
Right.
just reading these lines, like Pickle Lane, the way she used suicide in such a like
Yep.
uh, a weaponized way. Like, why was she in this season when she pled guilty? Like,
I
why?
know.
Why was she there? It's not that she's the only reason this season has been absolute garbage, but
No.
she is a large contributing factor because even if you remove the the lawsuit and everything, just the way that she's treated people, like, she's disgusting. She sucks. Like, and then when she said she's still on, like, being paid by Bravo. Did you catch that?
Oh, I sure did. I tweeted at Andy Cohen. He did not respond to me. No surprise there.
What a fucker.
I did
What
not
a
think.
fucker.
But I said, Andrew, a word. And I tweeted at him and Bravo because I would like to know, is this true? Because she didn't show up at the reunion. She was not invited to BravoCon. Like, I did hear that they're going to be doing a sit down with her separately with Andy, which, like, why? We don't need a sit down. Like, we just don't need it. We get it. She's going to jail. She'll be there in February. She'll be gone for at least 5.5 years or whatever. Like, let's just be done with her. She's not getting the Teresa Giudice treatment. And I had a discussion about this yesterday, where I was just explaining to someone. I was on Twitch just talking about this in general. I was streaming, and someone had asked me, like, wouldn't she, once she's, someone who's not a Bravo fan was like, wouldn't they just like take her off the show after she's been charged with this crime or like arrested for this crime? And I was like, listen, there is a precedent here of people who have been accused or who have been charged with crimes who remain on the show. Teresa was arrested. Obviously, we know. I mean, Teresa and Joe was still on the show before he went to jail, and he, we knew that he was guilty. He was still getting paid. I think the husbands in Jersey were the only husbands that get paid. That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And they put the show on pause for her to return from prison. Granted, it was 11 months, it wasn't 6.5 years. But even like
Hmm.
Luann was charged with a felony of assaulting a police officer. She remained on the show, and that was a storyline. Erica wasn't charged with a crime, but she was named in all of these lawsuits, and she clearly had no remorse, still has no remorse for anything that her husband, her then husband, I think they're still married legally, was accused of, and lived off of the money that was stolen from victims of families of victims of a plane crash. Like, this, I don't think we should be looking at Bravo as like the North Star of morality here,
Right.
unfortunately. But like something about Jen just makes it so much more disgusting than the rest of them, even Erica. Because I think it's just like Erica wasn't the one who officially committed the crime. She benefited from it, but
Hmm.
she didn't commit the crime. But when you read, like, there's the assistant U.S. attorney, Robert Sobelman, who I guess was speaking on behalf of, I don't know, who's the plaintiff here? The state, the city, the country, the United States? I don't know.
Bravo viewers.
But yeah, all of us, every one of us. He said basically that she didn't see that's absurd. She ran a floor in New York half the time, which I don't really know what
I
I
don't
don't
get
know
that
what that
means
means.
either.
Many of her co-defendants
She's not
were
like Meredith, who has slept with half of New York. So
right. She ran a floor in New York, whatever that means. Many of her co-defendants were drug addicted. Ms. Shaw, which I don't know what that means either. Ms. Shaw worked hard, making as much money as she could for herself, defrauding the elderly. Every cooperator told us Jen Shaw is the boss. They all knew she was. Jen Shaw was laughing in text messages, asking, "Did you get her to stop crying about an 80-year-old woman?" She told people how to do it. It was brazen fraud. She opened her own floor. Again, don't know what it means. Is that sales floor? I don't know what that means. She
yeah,
moved
I'm
things
not sure.
overseas. She starts dealing in cash. Nothing like it has been seen in this case before. There is not only a message from her that there is not, I think it says not one message from her that expresses any type of remorse. Not one. The defense hasn't submitted any. That's not how she felt when she pled guilty. Our evidence was devastating. A month of trial. The idea that it was witness statements that impacted her and not our evidence is hard to believe. She says she turned a new leaf. We're not so confident. She mocked the victims. She wrote, "You're making her fall in love with you." And then he said in her plea agreement, she admitted to being the leader of the conspiracy. Unlike others, Jen Shaw lived a life of luxury. She didn't even need the money. Her husband made a very good living. She didn't need to do the fraud, but she did it. She wanted the money. Even after arrest, she sold merchandise. It's an aggravating factor. Like, this is, she is a garbage person. She's a garbage person.
Hmm.
There's showing no remorse, like Erica saying, like, we don't even know if there are victims. And then there's Jen, who's like a literal just monster person. She's a monster person. It's just very different. So I hope that we never have to see her again. Long story short.
Yeah, I just I don't like any of this. Like, I don't like having to watch this season of Salt Lake City concurrently with this
Yeah.
sentencing, and especially, I guess, concurrently with like her having pled guilty because it just is like gross.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on like the amount of time she's serving, if she should be in. I guess
I
like
personally think it should be more, but I don't, I'm not a judge.
yeah,
But
I'm
it
not a
feels like
judge.
she should be serving more.
I don't know what like an extra 2 to 3 years does. I guess because the only like I guess the flip side I could see to having a shorter sentence is if she does have to pay it back X amount of money,
Yeah.
that it's easier for her to make money outside of jail than it is
Yes.
inside of jail. Um, which I guess is probably part of that whole supervisory thing. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
That's
I
what a
can
lot of people
understand.
were speculating about why the sentence was a little shorter than expected because
Yeah,
she owes, what is it, like $6.5 million or something like that in restitution, something like
yeah,
that maybe. So it'll be easier
but
for her to, or she'll be able to pay it back earlier
yeah,
once she gets out of
yeah,
jail.
to the people who deserve to have this money back.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I can
Personally, I
understand
feel
if
like the
that's
government
it.
should give it to them and then she should have to pay the government, but whatever.
Yeah. I shit, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I had something else to say, but I can't remember what it is. I don't know. Fuck Jen Shah. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I don't want Bravo to give her this like one-on-one sit down because they're gonna have to pay her
No.
for it. They should not be paying like don't contribute to making this easier for her
Yeah.
is, and I think that's part of the reason I have like a hard time with seeing her on the show as well, is like not only is she on the show, she's on here like lying and trying to get people to feel awful for her. She's treating people like shit throughout the entire season, but she's also getting a paycheck for each episode when like yes, hopefully that money is going towards the people who it should go back to, but at the same time like she's kind of like made a mockery of all of this. Like
Oh,
she's
yeah.
only, but why? I don't know. Just stop supporting her. Stop giving her an outlet. Stop giving her money. Stop giving her, like, make her earn it in a way where it's not just her being an asshat on our TV and that's how
Hmm.
she's getting it. Or at least make some other channel be the ones that are deciding to like give her that opportunity. But if I was Bravo, NBC, Peacock, whatever, I'd be like, nah, we are cutting ties. Like, give her the MTVD treatment.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I At first I was really irritated that she was not going to be on the reunion because I think outside of all the legal stuff, she has had abhorrent behavior this season and I think she should be held
Mm-hmm.
accountable for it. But then, I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about everything that happened yesterday at the sentencing and I'm kind of like, you know what? There's really no reason because she's full of shit at all times. So, like, what's the point of even listening to her? And that's how I feel about this sit down. Like, she's not gonna, maybe she'll like express fake remorse, but there's nothing that she's gonna say that's real. So, we really just don't need it. Also,
Mm-hmm.
did you see she threw a party last night in New York for her short
No,
sentencing? Yeah, page
no.
6 reported that she went out to like a lavish dinner and threw like a big party and paid for everybody at some Italian restaurant in New York City because to celebrate her short sentence. Like this bitch, you are supposed to be showing remorse and you're throwing a party. The audacity, just like the true audacity.
I'm actually like more mad now.
Yes,
Ugh.
I'll
Like,
let
I
me
wish
see.
the judge was like, actually, you gotta come back
Me
in
too.
tomorrow.
Me
I know it's a
too.
Saturday, but I'm gonna come in. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
open this
coming in
up.
on our day off to raise your sentence.
Like, go home, stay low, like, be humble.
Jen Shah celebrates sentencing with lavish Italian dinner party for 20. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star who learned her fate in federal court Friday morning dined and boozed with a group of 20 at Italian hotspot Valbella at the park in Midtown later that night. Page 6 is told the convicted fraudster and her posse spent the night eating and drinking on the establishment's second floor. Our photographers
She
caught the Real
sucks.
Housewives of Salt Lake City star 49 exiting the restaurant with her security guard. Um, I read somewhere, maybe it was on Instagram, that she was doing it to celebrate how short her sentence was. So, like, maybe, how much are you paying for this? Like, start paying your victims off early if you actually are remorseful. If you want to make your elders proud, the elders that you defrauded, you want to make the elders proud. They deserve the utmost respect according to you, right? That's what you said
Some of the
yesterday.
Reddit comments were so funny. They're just like, what in the Moana
I
is
know.
this shit?
The inner city press, the responses to the tweets were all truly top notch. Like housewives can really like meme like no housewives fans can really meme like no other. And someone asked the guy like, "I hope you're enjoying our responses." He's like, "I am. I'm trying to keep up." Like I'm sure this guy had no clue like what he was
Oh,
getting
he
himself
went
into
back
with
and
all of us.
replied and like quote tweeted a bunch of things and
Yeah.
stuff, which, yeah, good for him.
Good
I
for
mean,
him. Yeah.
it's definitely helping him professionally.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, when I first found him yesterday, he had like 130,000 followers, which is still a lot, and now he has
Hmm.
153,000. So good for him.
Yeah. All right. I have nothing else to say about Jen Shaw.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to her sentencing.
No,
Her
neither do I.
gentencing,
Her
as
Jentencing.
Reddit said,
I
which I
like
legit was
Shantencing.
cackling. Oh, okay.
That was my personal, but I like Jentencing as well. Jentencing is
Hmm.
amazing.
Um, should we keep complaining about Salt Lake City before we transition to
Sure.
Rinna?
Let's get it out of our
Okay.
systems. Yeah.
Yeah, because I really need to.
Yeah. I
This
hope Heather
season,
Gay doesn't think she's getting off the hook here because of
this no, no,
Jen.
no. I have time for Heather Gay
Yeah,
today.
because
Fuck
I have
that
time
bitch.
too.
Like, uh, I hope that this show gets the Dallas treatment.
Me
As
too.
someone who is currently watching Dallas, I'm actually enjoying Dallas way more than I enjoy Salt Lake City. When you remove the Leanne being incredibly racist towards
Mm-hmm.
a
Yes.
Mexican woman, and then like even Brandy's thing, yes, it was like ignorant and stupid and unnecessary. I thought that her reaction and like apology all seemed like sincere and like I'm a fucking moron. I shouldn't have done that, and like
Yeah.
didn't try to blame it anywhere else. Um, I feel like if you remove those two components, now I will say I still have maybe like 50-ish% of the last season left.
Did you?
So
So
I don't
you saw
know.
the Leanne reunion?
Yeah,
That was like truly one of the most wild reunions I think I've ever seen. The way that she lied and Andy was like, no, Andy had no time
yeah,
for Leanne.
yeah. He called her on everything.
Yeah. Give that energy to some other
A
people,
ton of other people. Yes.
Mr. Cohen.
But I feel like Salt Lake City is worse than Dallas. Dallas to me is
Yeah.
more enjoyable to watch if you oh, I also want to say about Dallas, I had no idea that like it just recently happened. I thought it was like
Yeah.
a 20 like 10 thing, and then it took me until I think season 4 to be
Because
like,
they were
oh
in
shit.
COVID. Oh,
Well,
season five is COVID.
season 5 was right after COVID. So something happened in season 4 that made me realize like, oh, this is a lot more
Yeah.
recent than, which kind of made like Leanne's whole thing about being fucking racist like even more of
Yeah.
the like eye opening, like, oh wow. Um, but what is the show offering people? Like if you enjoy Salt Lake City, let us know. I'll send you the fucking StreamYard link. Like you can come on and talk to us because
I would
I
love
just
it.
don't yeah, I just don't understand what you enjoy about Salt Lake City this season.
Yeah, if someone can defend it, you have an open invitation. Doesn't have to be this week. It can be next week, whenever. Open invitation.
Yeah, I
Reach
like
out to
send a
one of us on
time.
Twitter. You're more than welcome to join us. You don't have to
I'm
come on camera.
yeah, I'm currently private, so send it to Katie. Um,
Okay, perfect. Yeah, send it to me and we will cordially invite you to defend your position.
there's not the only redeemable thing about this season is Lisa Barlow. Like that's it. She's
Hmm.
hilarious.
And I have to be honest with you, and I hate to be the one to say this, but like Whitney's not that bad. I don't care about her hilling or her fillings, but just like in general, she hasn't been the most insufferable person on the cast. And she was on
No.
Watch What Happens Live this week, which was a wild episode with Julia Fox. It was so awkward to watch. She's so she makes me very uncomfortable. And she was like a normal person. So I was like, okay, like now even like Whitney's more likable now that she's friends with Lisa. Like I mean, I'm more willing to root for that duo than bad
Yes.
weather.
Yes. I there's nothing I like about it. I don't need to go further into the Jen Shaw shit. We know that
Yeah.
she is playing a role clearly of someone who's innocent of these crimes that she actually committed. But the way that she's treated people, and then we have this whole black eye thing.
Yep. The fact that Heather thinks it's cute to hang the information over other people's heads of this black eye. In one breath, she's like, I just don't want to talk about it. Like, I really don't want to talk about it right now. But then she's in the bathroom with Meredith and Jen being like, and if you were my real friends, you would know who told my black eye because other people know. And then she's like doing like a weird hump dance. I'm like, this is like actually the most unhinged behavior I've ever seen. And then for her to do it later in her sit down conversation with Whitney, she's like, well, other people do know, but you're in a friendship break with me. So now you don't know. And I'm like, so this is privileged information that you're sharing for what purpose? Like you're really using this as a manipulation tactic?
I can't believe I have to agree with fucking Megan McCain
Ugh,
on
ugh,
an
yeah,
idea that if Heather Gay doesn't tell us where she got this black eye, she shouldn't be on reality TV.
absolutely.
It's true though. Like what are no one likes you right now because of this. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how you would get us to like you? If you'd be like, Jen Shaw fucking punch me in the face, and we all would be on your team to be like, let's tear Jen Shaw down at the fucking
Well,
stakes.
she's ride or die for Jen, Kari. She can't do that. She's ride or
Oh, the
die.
whole I'm so loyal. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
You want
she's
to know like why you've gotten to this position in your reality TV career is because you were likable and fans were loyal to you, and now
mhm.
you're pulling this fucking stunt where like who has your back right now? Your fans don't. Your fans are annoyed with you. Like I just who why are you acting this way? Okay, I saw something though, and I don't know if you saw this,
Okay.
that supposedly um that the producers told Heather to lie about her black eye, that she got it just in some like inconspicuous way.
Was that in Dumois?
Yes.
I saw
Well,
that
it was
too.
replying to the thing saying
Yeah.
that like the storylines weren't good this season, producers needed to create drama, and so they had Heather do this. Do you
I
believe?
don't know if I believe that at all. I
I
don't
don't.
think I believe it. I just don't think that Bravo's producers benefit at all from the audience not knowing what's actually happening. And I think Andy has said a couple of times, like, when things like this happen off camera, it's frustrating for him because it's like it's hard to tell the story. So I can't imagine they would have like this big mystery
Hmm.
just to make people frustrated, because I just think they're smarter than that. Like, they know that it's going to cause outrage. They know, especially coming off of this Beverly Hills season where we had this whole Kathy and Rinna drama off camera, and it was just
Hmm.
a back and forth of who said what and what happened. And I just can't imagine that they would do that again. And Andy has
Hmm.
been on record a few times, I think, saying that he does not like it when things like this happen off camera. And
Yeah.
he's like, if we had footage, we'd show it. Like, we want the truth out there. We want it. So I just don't think that, like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel. Maybe Heather responded to Dumois and said that. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, we don't know who that response is from because the other part of it was they're going to put Salt Lake City on
Dallas
pause
pause, yeah.
and then maybe, but then the response was like, no, they actually want to like potentially cast around Lisa Barlow, but that's difficult to do, which like I don't know why. Oh, and that they were going to get rid of like all the friends of, which why get rid of, is it Donna? Dana?
Dana,
Dana. Dana.
Dana.
I work with someone who spells her name Dana and it's not Dana. And then I have to go through all the potential pronunciations in my head
Oh
until
my
I'm
god.
like, oh, yeah, 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 it's that one. Like
Yeah,
Donna, Dana, Donna. There's a third one, and that's it. Dana.
Dana,
Dana.
Dana.
That's what this woman. But anyway, I think that she's fine. I would take her back.
Even Angie K. I'm okay with Angie K.
Yeah.
Like, she's being shady in the confessional. She's being kind of funny. Like, yeah, it's weird her
Those
friendship with
three.
Jen, but like she seems to be friends with Lisa. Like, why not just cast the two of them or one of the two of them
Well,
with
you could
Whitney?
do
Like,
Lisa. Yeah, you could do Lisa Whitney, Dana, Donna, Denise, whatever the fuck her name is, Angie, not H, but K, and then bring in a fifth new face.
yeah, one
Or
or
even
two
two
others.
new
Like,
faces.
yeah,
We'll take six at this
you
point.
can't tell me there's not another unhinged Mormon person in Salt Lake City that could come on this show and like
Right.
give us something.
Because you know who's not giving us anything? Is fucking Meredith. Like, how are
Meredith
you
has
this
never
willing?
given us a thing since the beginning of the show. Since season 1, she has not given us a thing. The only thing that's interesting about her is the rant that Lisa went on about her at her expense. And that's the only reason she has a storyline at all this season. That's the only thing that's interesting about her.
Yeah. I Meredith's boring. Heather won't tell us the only interesting thing about her this season, which is how she got this black
Right.
eye. Whitney's doing fine, I guess. Like,
I mean, her personal storyline I couldn't care less about, but like, I'm on her side with the Whitney and Heather drama.
yeah, me too. The way that Heather's handling it is just,
Heather is a
I don't know,
monster.
it's not immature. It's just destructive. Like, it's
Yeah.
purposefully destructive.
Yeah.
And then, who's our fifth? Who am I forgetting? Oh, Jen. Get the
Oh,
fuck out,
yeah.
Jen.
Yeah.
Well, we can't film you behind bars, bitch. So,
Yep.
maybe she'll be on like Locked Up.
Yeah, or
You ever
like
watch that show?
yeah, there's some other show that was on Netflix for a minute. I forget the name of it, but it like followed like it was like a men's prison and a women's prison on different floors, and it like followed the
Hmm.
relationships between them. It was kind of wild. So maybe there'll be a show like that about the prison that she's in.
All right. I don't know if this is like right to talk about. So I'm just gonna ask a question. If you don't want to answer it, don't answer it.
Okay.
Do you think that Coach Shaw is going to remain faithful to Jen Shaw, or is he gonna divorce this and get out?
I think he's going to.
Or open marriage type of thing?
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be an open marriage situation. I'm a little mad. I'm not supportive of Coach Shah. I've turned. I was and
Hmm.
I've turned. I think it came out yesterday that he makes $700,000 a year coaching, which I did have a conversation about because I was like, college coaches make that, and people are like, yeah, college coaches make millions and millions of dollars if they're like
Yeah.
in a good school. Um,
Hmm.
so I was like, oh, okay, so I guess he could and maybe should be making more, but that just makes me even more angry that it's like, okay, you're making $700,000 a year, and your wife is literally defrauding elderly and vulnerable people. And you can't tell me that you didn't have any clue. You just can't. Like, he's not a dumb person, he's a lawyer. Maybe he purposely didn't ask the question so he wouldn't be implicated, but like,
Yeah. He's too smart to not have known, but I
yes,
also think that he's smart enough to
to keep
not ask
himself out of it.
questions.
Yeah. I think he
Yes.
knows how to keep himself out of it. So I think he
That,
knew and
like,
purposely didn't get his hands dirty in
master
it.
of the gray area there, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. But
You
no, I don't
bringing
think
that
he's
up,
going to remain faithful.
no, I kind of like don't blame him, but um, I just think it's weird because he's like very much presented himself as like on her side and defended this dark time she's gone through, which like politely,
Fuck
I
you.
know a ton of people who have gone through dark times and have
Yeah.
not like committed, have not like swindled money from the poor or the elderly to
Well, right. And she
like
blames it
try
on
and
her.
bring them out of this dark time. Like
Yeah.
try Prozac, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like
Yeah, go to therapy.
therapy.
Yeah, let's start there. But she,
Do do your little
sh
therapy walks through the neighborhood. Like
right,
get
right.
some coping strategies, which I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying these in a mocking way. I am
No.
very much supporting everything I'm saying. But the mocking is the fact that Jen Shah is using, I committed these crimes to try and get me out of this dark place.
Well, and she's also saying it's about her father who passed away, and I don't know when her father passed away, but it seemed like it was right around season 1, maybe right
Hmm.
before season 1, because it was a pretty hot storyline at that point. And this has been going on since 2012 in the case. And then
Right.
her lawyer was like, actually, she was involved before then. So it's like, oh, okay. No, actually, these crimes have been going on longer. So politely fuck off.
Hmm. I wanted to bring this up when you brought up the like coaching thing because being from the state of Connecticut, not many things matter there except for college basketball.
Okay.
um, UConn women especially are always very good, and like the men had a long time coach. Jim Calhoun was always very successful, and so I remember it was always a hot thing of like, how are the highest state or paid state employees like the men's and women's basketball coaches, and that's still true in the year 2021 at least. So, um, and they're making at least as college basketball coaches, the men's coach 3.6 million, and then the women's coach Gino Oriema 2.6 million,
Oh, wow.
and
Well, good for
so
her.
they're head coaches. So I
Her?
imagine that who.
Is the women's coach a woman?
No, it's a
Oh,
man, Gino
okay.
Oriema. He's been their coach for like legitimately 30. I'm what, 34? So I think he's been their coach for like 33 years. I think he started there in
Oh, wow.
1989.
Damn.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, he started there like young, and his assistant coach has been his assistant coach the whole time. I don't know how or like why
Wow.
she didn't like try and go coach somewhere else, but I guess it just like she
Wow.
likes working for him, Chris Daly. So if she's a assistant coach, I imagine she's easily making, if he's making 2.6, she might be making like 1.5.
Well, good for her.
So I feel like for a football coach and assistant coach to bring in 700,000, I'm surprised
Yeah.
that's not more.
Yeah, it feels like someone at, I don't know, what's a school, Penn State or like LSU
He
or,
coaches
but
at Utah,
Utah.
so
But I'm
they're
saying
like,
like those schools are probably making like multiple millions of dollars, their coaches, I would imagine.
yeah, yeah. Um, when was this written? Because it says her salary is over 300,000, which like if
Jen?
Gino Oriema's making,
Oh,
no, Chris Daly, the assistant coach, if he's making 2.6 and you're
oh
only
my
making
goodness. Yeah,
300K,
time
like
to,
lady, go get a head coaching job
yeah.
somewhere. I don't know when this was written. Okay, back to whatever. So, um, yeah, he definitely makes enough money to support the two of them, and the fact that she's making her money fraudulently and
Uh-huh.
he's choosing to ignore it. I guess like good on you for not getting too involved, but also we give Erica Jane a lot of shit for
Yes.
her maybe should have having knowing better as well. And Coach Shaw has definitely dodged a lot of that criticism.
Yeah. 1000%.
I did like one thing about this week's episode of Salt Lake City that I want to bring up,
Okay.
which is when they said next week on the season finale
Finale.
of
I
Salt
know.
Lake
I'm so
City.
excited. I'm
I
so
was,
excited.
I'm so happy the season's ending. It's literally the one thing I liked from this week's episode.
Yes, I know. Because I was thinking, because we just talked about it, because we were like, well, there going to be 4 housewives on? Because New Jersey's
Yeah.
starting in February. And
Yep.
then when they said that, I was like, oh, thank God we're getting a short season. It also seems like there's events happening that they're just like purposely not showing us. Like they were all together at
Yeah.
some other thing. And thank you. Thank you for sparing us. Like they obviously must know that this season sucks too, because they're just leaving stuff out, which I'm fine with.
Hmm.
There's also
And
something that got cut out from the trailer, and I don't know if you saw it or noticed this, but Dana had said something to Whitney before she brought it up at the table about someone being an informant, which is probably Stu. There was like a scene in the trailer of Dana saying like, my friend is an informant and he's informing on Jen. They didn't show that in the show.
oh no, I don't remember. I watch these trailers usually while I'm like picking up Nitro shit in the backyard. Like that's usually when I decide to watch the trailers because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, it came out, and like I'll normally watch TikToks while I'm out there.
Yeah.
But then if a trailer drops that day, it's usually when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So my attention level is minimal at
Fair.
best.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
The other thing I did want
no,
to say about this was, do you feel like the conversation between Angie H and Heather was somewhat scripted or fake? Because that felt like a very put on fake conversation to me. If someone did this to you, you don't have to protect them.
I
I was like, okay,
to
acting.
me to me, I think what it felt like was Angie had talked to Whitney, which I think she said she had seen Whitney the day before or
Yeah, it was like
something.
at that event or whatever.
Yeah. And Whitney was like, why won't she tell me? Maybe she'll tell you. Try to figure it out. Do
Yeah.
what you need to. That's what it kind of felt like. And I'm sure there was a level of like scriptedness to it. But to me, it felt like, okay, if there's anybody that Heather's going to tell at this point, it's me.
Yeah.
But
Or do you
I don't
still think it was
know.
Jen?
I don't know if I ever thought it was Jen,
Oh,
though.
I think
That's
I
the
still
thing
think
is,
it was Jen.
I honestly still think it was at Bush. That's my top my top like suspect here is
Okay.
that bush you see in the cameras, uh
Knowing
that
the
view,
yeah, knowing Bravo, that's what happened. But in
because
my mind, it was Jen.
I mean if it was a person, sure, like let's I'm fine with that. We can blame it on Jen, but I do genuinely think genuinely I should go. I do think that there is a chance that they were fucking around and like they were hammered. What didn't
Yeah,
Whitney say like when she left that like Jen and Heather were like topless and like putting their boobs in each other's faces or something, like
something
in
like
other
that.
people's faces, which like I do with my boobs all the time. I get it. Like that's
Yeah,
actually my biggest hobby is
yeah.
just
No, same.
making people motorboat me bare
Hmm.
breasted. And
Yeah, anytime I hang out with my girlfriends, that's all I do is shove my
yeah, I
boobs
do
in their
it
face.
sober. The fact that people have to get drunk to do it is wild because
Yeah.
I that's just Tuesday for me.
Mm-hmm,
So
hmm.
um I could see like someone accidentally ran into her. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
roughhousing in a way, and she like stumbles and falls into that bush. And
That's probably
it's
what
so
realistically
easy to
happened.
like get
Yes.
bruised in your face as well. Like I literally was talking to a guy I work with who got like micro needling done, and
Yeah.
because of where the micro needle hit him, he got a black eye.
Ugh.
And I actually asked him, I was like, all right, I need you to answer a question. How long did it take you to get the black eye? And he goes, almost instantaneously. I was like, oh,
Oh
that ruins
wow.
a theory that
She had a
a Real
procedure.
Housewives theory that she
Yeah.
might have gotten this black eye before the trip. And he was like, what are you talking about? So I
Don't
had
worry
to
about it. Don't
explain
worry.
to them. This group already thinks I'm like just like a doofus, so I don't mind just like playing into the role. So yeah, I was like, oh, thank you for telling me that. No, I think it was the bush because it would also
Yeah.
explain the
The
scratches.
scratches. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it probably was the bush, which is even more infuriating.
If Heather comes out in this reunion saying this is what happened, will you gain any respect for her?
No.
Yeah, same.
No,
It's
it's
too
too
late.
little too late. Yeah, it's too late.
What it also annoys me though is that the reunion has already filmed, and so she hasn't been able to see the reaction to her and this stupid ass
Oh, well, I think
storyline
she's. Yeah, oh, that's true because it filmed before
on
this. Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I actually think that if the episodes had aired, and yeah, so she wouldn't have seen the reaction. The episodes had aired before the reunion, that Heather Gay would be more likely to be peer pressured by the online community to say what happened.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, she did say on the after show that they filmed, which I have not watched, but I saw people talking about it because I'm not giving these women any more of my mental energy, aside from talking about them right now. She said that she'll talk about it in her book, which is obviously not true because her book was written prior to all of this happening. And Whitney even said, they said it on Watch What Happens Live. Andy asked about it, and she's like, I think she would have had to rewrite her book because that
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
I can't wait for the season to be done. I'm so excited
Same.
that
I'm not
next
even
week
excited
is the
about the
last week.
reunion because I just don't think we're going to get any answers on anything.
No, there's nothing I want to know about.
No, there's nothing. Yeah.
The only thing I would want to know is how she got the black eye, but I don't think she'll say it.
I have a feeling because reunion like leaks come out all the time, and I just feel like we
Yeah,
would have heard if they're going to talk about it at the reunion, or I feel like it would be teased and be like, "You'll find out at the reunion" to at least like give us
hmm,
something, but no one said anything, so I just don't think we're going to know.
yeah. I hope it's only. I mean, ideally it would be a one episode reunion, but
I think it's going to
I
be
hope it's no
two.
more than two.
It better not
I
be three.
if it's three,
It'll be two and then a sit down with Jen, but I don't think that's my prediction. But hopefully, the sit
okay.
down with Jen is not a full hour. Hopefully, it's like a Watch What Happens Live,
Yeah,
30
maybe.
minute with commercials.
Anything else you want to say about
No,
Salt Lake City?
never
All right,
again.
let's get into some good news. Lisa Rinna is fucking gone. Bye, bitch.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. As Lisa Vanderpump tweeted, she did tweet ding dong. And I saw that Kyle was liking some shady Lisa Vanderpump tweets, and Erica said something shady about Lisa Vanderpump. But yeah, Rinna's gone. And like 2 days before, she was posting like, "You'll never get rid of me" with a cockroach on her Instagram story, and then it's like, "Oh, actually, we will because you're gone."
I thought that we were like set up for her to be gone with the whole I want 2 million an episode thing anyway.
That's what
That
it seemed like.
I mean, you can go back and listen to our podcast episodes from whenever that happened. I said it then.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by this, but I'm definitely happy, appreciative, thankful. And we're bringing in
Yes.
Brandy. Isn't Brandy rumored to be on this upcoming season?
Brandy posted a picture with a diamond in her hand or something like that. And then everyone's like, Brandy's back. And then I think someone came out from Bravo, maybe, I don't know if it was Andy or who, said, like, we haven't made a decision yet. And then she walked it back and was like, no, I actually don't know anything. So she was just messing around.
Messing around like your cats are coming in
Yes.
hot.
Oh, coming
Um,
in hot.
I will go back to this. Amy, I think you joined like right after this conversation, but we were saying that we wouldn't be surprised if it gets Dallas, where
Yeah.
I don't know, they either have to like recast and be very intentional with their recasting or see ya.
Yeah. Or it could be Miami and just be put on a 10-year hiatus. But that would mean Jen Shah would be back, and I don't want that.
I also would love to see, I think I've expressed this to you and on this podcast before, like a relegation system of like, listen, you're bringing it. So we're moving you up from Miami. We're moving you up from Peacock to Bravo to the big
Yes.
leagues. And then like, oh, Salt Lake City, what are you doing? Like you've been
Mm-hmm.
relegated to Peacock. And then at the end of each calendar year, we have a big relegation conversation. You have the like the czars of different areas. So bring in like different podcast hosts, different media outlets, whatever. Like bring in some representation,
Yeah.
and we have votes and conversations. And let's really make this worthwhile. Like
Yeah.
because to me, like Miami deserves to be front and center. Like Miami crushes it. Where
Yeah.
but given I also understand because Miami is so good, and
I want to
if you're a
protect it.
Housewives fan, yeah, you're bringing in people to Peacock for Miami if
Mm-hmm.
because I think based on like word of mouth alone is
Oh, yeah.
as it's gaining more and more, and I think Queens of Bravo, like their Twitter account is really helping it, and um I think you get to a point where it's like, okay, I have to check this out.
And they do air it on Bravo after. Like they do that with the Ultimate Girls Trips, and they did it with last season of Miami, that they started
Mm-hmm.
airing them weekly, I think after they finished on Peacock. So it's kind
Oh,
of just
okay.
like you get it first and then they will air it on
Got it.
the network.
Yeah.
I feel like the Peacock team, whoever is doing production of Miami and Ultimate Girls Trip, is like top notch. So
Hmm.
I just don't I want them
Yeah.
protected.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, we think that there's a good chance that they get canceled or on pause, hiatus, whatever it is. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, that Dumois
sorry.
thing said that they were
Yeah.
supposed to start filming in February. And I'm like, if this is true,
Yeah.
then I'm going to jump out a window. Like, I don't think I'm
No,
going to
they
watch
they
it. If it starts filming in February, I'm not watching it.
they need a break. They need a break.
Yes.
Let us at least see the season of not Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls Trip where Whitney and Heather are on that together. Like
Yeah.
before you start filming things, and
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, Rinna's gone. I'm interested to see who else we get if Brandy comes back. But like,
I
yes,
hope Randy
keep
doesn't come back.
weakening Kyle.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, I think Erica's coming back. That's what I heard.
Hmm.
Which I'm like, can't we just get rid of both of them?
I'm interested to see Erica without Lisa
I
because
would like Dorit to be gone as well, because if we have Erica without
oh,
Dorit or Lisa, then I think maybe it might be interesting.
Dorit is boring.
Yeah. Well, let's see if she stages another robbery.
Whew, shots fired, but also probably true. I don't think she staged it. I think her husband did.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, anything else you want to say about Rinna?
No, good riddance.
Bye. See you never.
Bye.
Okay. So next we have Potomac to talk about. And we only missed the one episode because of the way the
Hmm.
holidays fell, because
Yeah.
Christmas and New Year's Eve were both Sundays. So we just had the most recent one.
Yep.
And the main focal point was Karen's show.
Yes, Karen show.
Show? Question mark?
She question mark?
Variety show? Drag show?
Question mark? Improv show? It was at an
I
improv, right?
It was, but she clearly stated she's not a comedian.
I would disagree. Maybe not a
I don't think
stand-up
she's
comedian, but she's funny.
I don't think she's intentionally a comedian.
Mm, okay. Yeah.
Um, before we get towards or to the actual show, I just thought that I don't know if there's like a lot of filler. I guess like my annoyance right now with Potomac is that we're Mia heavy.
Yeah, we're
Do you
too
feel
Mia
like we're
heavy.
Mia heavy?
Yeah, we're very Mia heavy. Mia and Jacqueline, which like Jacqueline's a friend of. Why do I care?
Well, I think based off of the preview we saw, we're Mia heavy because this like inseparable duo is gonna throw down next week,
Yes.
maybe, or the week
Yes.
after, depending on how they edit it. So I guess maybe there's build up to that, but I'm not exactly enjoying it just because like we said last time we talked about Potomac, I'm not Team Mia in
Yeah.
this season.
No, neither am I. I think Mia is like an interesting entity on the show because she's like messy and kind of weird, but
Hmm.
like, and some of her confessionals are kind of funny, but overall, as like a character and a person, like I'm not a fan. But I don't hate her on the show. She's kind of like Ashley. But I think I openly hate Ashley now after this week.
Yes, let's talk about Ashley.
Like
I
I
am
could root for
sick of
Ashley as a
her.
housewife, but now I don't think I can anymore.
I'm just sick of her like constantly targeting Candace. The
Yeah,
season has seemed very intentional in let's take down Candace.
very.
And like obviously Giselle contributed to that and Robin had her own. I think like Robin's thing was a little different because Robin went at Candace where
Mm-hmm.
Giselle and Ashley are going at Candace's husband.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with Ashley this season. I don't know if it's like hurt people type of thing right now, but I feel like she's kind of happy in a way. Not happy, but like, yeah, she's going through a divorce. However, doesn't give you the right to treat people the way that she's treating Candace.
Yeah, I think it's I just think it's a little I'm struggling to find the word. I guess hypocritical when your husband's literally assaulting cameramen and
Yeah.
people on the show, like literally her assaulting people. Um, and you're out here literally making up false stories and recruiting random friends of yours to make up false stories about not only Chris, but now Eddie. Like, why are we bringing Eddie into it?
Yeah, the Eddie part was his reaction to
That
Wendy
was my
explaining it
that
was funny.
was my favorite part of this episode was Wendy and Eddie just laughing about it.
When he was like making the big eyes at his daughter and it was like, I'm
Mm-hmm. Am I
flirting with
flirting with
you.
you?
And she
Yeah.
like covered his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just the two of them to be able to like laugh about these
Yeah.
accusations, given like not saying
Because he
that Candace should
smiled.
be. Yeah, I don't think Candace should be laughing about these accusations. I'm
No,
not
because
saying
it's
that
much
like
more targeted.
Wendy's reaction is right and Candace's is wrong. I don't want that to be like conflated. But Wendy could not have reacted better, and her husband could
Mm-hmm.
not have reacted better, and them as a couple could not have reacted better
Yeah.
than
Like,
what they
don't give it
did
any
in
life.
this. Yeah, like smiley, okay, and
Yeah. Okay.
Eddie, happy Eddie,
Yeah. Happy
exactly,
Eddie.
is as Amy chimed in and said, happy Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm I liked that in a way for Wendy because and in her confessional, like, why would he cheat on me? Like, look at me. Like, we
Yeah.
get the arrogance from Wendy, but also seeing that, I it just it was a nice Wendy moment. We haven't
Yeah.
had the opportunity to have a ton of those this season, and
Yeah.
I liked it.
Me too. Me too.
But I guess I just don't understand like why Ashley is doing this because it seems intentional. It seems malicious.
Oh, yeah.
And Ashley, like no one your job's not at risk. Like you'll be back next season as a housewife without doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You are able to be yourself and you'll still be back. So like what are you trying to accomplish besides trying to take this woman down?
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, I guess it's she probably doesn't want the spotlight on her and Michael's divorce, so she's putting something else out there about someone else's marriage. I would assume. I She clearly just doesn't like Candace, even though we've seen like some inroads being made in their friendship. Like clearly that's not genuine. And
Mm-hmm.
Ashley always feels like she's the one taking the first shot. Like, yeah, there's been stuff like in the past where Candace has been like, "Oh, you shouldn't drink when you're trying to conceive," whatever. But like
Yeah.
making a character statement for what's her
A
name?
woman who assaulted Monique.
Yes, Monique. Thank you. For Monique against to defend her in court. Basically, it's like you shouldn't. First of all, she was in the bathroom when that all happened, and second of all, like just don't involve yourself because that's messy. Like she just
Mm-hmm.
feels like she goes out of her way to do things against Candace, and like this is clearly another example of that. Giselle, I'm confused about because they were friends, so like Giselle shouldn't have been sitting at that table. If you didn't want to perpetuate anymore and you just wanted to specifically say like, oh, Chris made me feel uncomfortable when he came into my room and we were alone, like that's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to say. I'm not accusing him of anything, I'm just saying that moment made me uncomfortable. Then like that's it. But the fact that you're like participating in these dinners and you're going with these like rando girls that Ashley somehow recruited to like make up these stories, that's like a really bad look on Giselle as well.
I don't know. I don't want to use the word jealous, but if we were to put what Ashley has tried to do with her career and what Candace has done, they have a lot of overlaps. And if you
Mm-hmm.
were to like power rank them, Candace wins in each one.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like the pageant stuff, music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Candace had, they're both married, but one's getting divorced. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if because there are those similarities that Ashley feels a need to try and take Candace down. But to me, like Candace doesn't do anything to be like, I'm the better one than you at this. Like, oh, your
Yeah.
music? Well, like we don't see any of that. And so I don't know if it's like insecurity or whatever, but the the Ashley this season is not the Ashley that I've enjoyed as a housewife.
Yeah. Usually I have never been like an Ashley fan. She's never been my favorite, but I've always said she's good for the show because she just makes good TV. This I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, ugh, this is a little too deliberate and a little too obvious. And like, who are these randos? Like, you're literally finding randos. And I will say, I don't love like everybody talking about this girl's looks. Like, that's mean. But the Sesame Street stuff was really, truly hilarious
Oh,
to me. Like, one of the most
absolutely.
incredible confessionals, maybe of all time.
Yes. And because you also have to add in, I feel like the orange hooded sweatshirt with the gloves is like
Yes.
Candace saying, I'm gonna do all of my like bitchy confessionals in this
Mm
outfit.
hmm. Mm hmm.
And then when I'm like being classy and a lady, I'm in the one of the other outfits
Yeah.
because her just sitting there with like the hood up and her hands in these gloves, calling this woman a Sesame Street character.
Yeah, it's like she's channeling the dark side if she was a Star Wars character with the hood up.
It was so good. And like you
Yeah.
said, like, sure, is it a low shot to go for her looks? Yes, I
I'm
will
even
agree
more
with
thinking
that.
of Mia's confessional talking about her
I
looks.
I didn't even Mia's confessional, like I don't think that it was awful.
No, it
It
wasn't
wasn't
awful. I just feel bad for her,
necessary,
like, if she's
but
watching the
if
show
she's
and just to
watching
see these
it,
people,
yeah.
like, basically clowning on her for not being cute, like,
It was
it's
like
sad.
a backhanded compliment to Candace in a way of like if Chris is
And
cheating
Wendy.
on oh yeah. Wendy too. Like if Chris is cheating on Candace, like it's is it gonna be with I don't even know her real name, so
I
we'll
don't
call
know her
her
name.
Snuffleupagus, I guess. And um,
Probably the worst Muppet that you could have chosen, or the worst Sesame Street character.
actually, like one of my longest friends, or like longest friendships, I guess, I call her Snuff because, not because she looks like this woman in the
Oh my God.
slightest, is we played like high school travel softball together, but we're from different towns. So I'd be like, oh, my friend Kara, and after a little while, like my like group of friends at home are like, you talk about this girl and we've never met her, like who is she? She's imaginary.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
because Snuffleupagus is Big Bird's imaginary
Mm
friend.
hmm.
So
Mm
I was
hmm.
like, oh yeah, she's Snuffleupagus. So like, she's still in my phone as Snuff. Like
That's
my
funny.
whole family calls her Snuff. So I think that's why I went to Snuffleupagus
Yeah.
first. It's because like the Sesame Street character who is still in my life the most
Well, the
accidentally.
flirting was also imaginary, so it kind of fits.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I do love how the Potomac editors were just like, he didn't look at her and show like the
Savage.
flashback to it. Yeah,
Savage.
because then Ashley's gonna have to defend that on
Yeah.
behalf
Well,
of
Ashley's just going to
her.
be like, I don't know. That's just what she told me.
Yeah, but you're the one that brought Snuffleupagus around, so
Mm,
like
yeah.
you're going to have to defend her. And could Candace have dealt with this whole situation maybe in a more cordial way? Sure, but I don't think she needed to.
I
I
actually
think
think
her
Candace
reaction
handled it
was
perfectly.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't owe Ashley
No.
or Ashley's friend any respect at this point.
I think she handled it
Not,
perfectly. She didn't like freak
yes.
out. She was just like, no, ma'am. I'm not talking to you.
No,
No, ma'am. And I
no,
think it was
I don't need
perfect.
to.
They
Yeah.
tried, and she was like, no, not today. And I'll say good for
Mhm.
Robin for being the only one at the table that was like, that's the girl, right?
Yes. And I was going to throw that in there to give my girl Robin a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of redemption
It's been a rough
because we
Robin
know that
season.
um, I don't know, she was alright at the beginning. I feel like it's the
Yeah.
last like month or so, but
Yeah.
Robin's back being a good friend. Um, yeah, Robin did say something. I just, Ashley is Ashley needs to reroute.
Yeah.
Ashley needs to do a little reflecting after this season. And I think what makes Ashley good is like when she has stirred the pot in the past, it's like within the women. I feel
Yeah.
like bringing her husband into this and then also not just bringing her husband into this once, but aiding Giselle in this and
Yeah.
then now having other people, like this is a pattern. Why are you
Yeah.
obsessed?
Yeah. It's weird. And like, I've never been truly an Ashley fan at all. And I think it just really like brings back to the forefront of my mind that like you're really coming for this man who's never done a thing that we've seen on television to be inappropriate when your husband has been accused of assault multiple times. There's been videos of him in a hotel room. Like there is proof that your husband is trash, like
Mm-hmm.
proof. And you have stood by him and lied on his behalf and defended him throughout all of it, which like I guess you have to if you marry a disgusting bridge
Mm-hmm.
troll for his money or whatever the reason is you decide to marry this man. But like don't then hypocritically come for Chris, who's done nothing. And you know what? Chris is not my favorite. I don't dislike him. I don't really like him. He's just there for
Mm-hmm.
me. But I'm just kind of like, he has not done anything other than defend Candace at times.
Yeah,
What's the
and drinks a
problem?
little too much.
Yeah. But that footage
Um,
of him standing at that bar, not even looking in that girl's
yeah,
direction,
perfect.
and he
Perfect.
says that she says that he approached her. She was just like, hi. Like, clearly you are thirsty for
Mm-hmm.
whatever, TV, whatever.
Yeah.
Drama, you started this whole thing. And it's just so embarrassing. What an embarrassing moment.
Sorry, I was just reflecting on it. And I just think it's so good. Like the Potomac editors, in addition, like while we're
Yes.
talking about the Potomac editors, who really are a character themselves this season,
Yes.
the way they edited the show,
Hmm.
and by not the TV show, but Karen's show, was
Yes. So good.
phenomenal.
So good.
And how they even tied that editing into next week's preview.
Hmm.
So if you just listen to us to listen to us, first of all, thank you. But don't watch the show. Um, Karen put on a show. We don't have a better way of describing it because there was like a question and answer thing. There was like two or three different drag performers. There was, I don't know, there was a whole bunch of things happening. And they did like scene one and in an old timey cartoon
Yeah. Like
type
a
of
silent
like,
movie almost.
yeah. And it was just that they had scene two, scene three, and then they just gave it this goofiness that
Hmm.
I think only it I think it just like encompassed how
Yes.
ridiculous everyone thought that show was.
Yes. And wasn't there a point where
It
they
was
said something about
perfect.
like not having the rights to the music?
Oh, maybe. I know it was like
Or like they
no
didn't pay for the
budget
licensing,
for,
or yeah, no budget
yeah,
for the licensing or something like that. I thought that was funny.
yeah. And they used that same editing to then give us the previews for next week of, and
They're going on
they
another
had
trip.
quotes on the screen. Yeah.
They just got back. I feel like last episode or something from Miami. They're going to Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Listen, I'll take it.
No, I'll
Go
take it. I'm
ahead,
not mad.
girls.
I just am surprised.
But we do see next week that Mia and Jacqueline are going to have a falling out. And like we mentioned, they are really, really like tying together
Hmm.
the um their relationship and just how there's like sexual components to it. And she's like the third person in their marriage, but it's platonic. And Mia helped buy Jacqueline's car and all this stuff, whatever. So
Hmm.
we might get some drama next week.
Yeah.
Amy has a question for us. Well, I guess for me.
Yeah, Amy, I don't know if I ever answered the question, so we could talk about it. I don't
Okay.
remember what I said, if I did.
Would the Cool Water Show live pod be Karen's or Giselle and Robin's? Uh,
Yeah, I
I
honestly
think this
feel
is
like
an
Karen's
easy
is
answer for
more
me.
fun. Karen seemed more fun, in my opinion. But I think we would be
I
more Giselle and Robin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Giselle and Robin,
Yeah.
but there would be no TikTok dances.
No,
And
not one. Banned, actually.
yeah, I feel like a show like theirs, they would have to like really be intentional with who they have up there and
Yeah.
stories to like bring shade out
Mm-hmm.
where I don't know, do we need to do a live show? I guess like they do live shows for Survivor and stuff, like Rob has a podcast, but they
Yeah.
bring on like former guests and stuff. But even then, like live shows for something like this are hard.
Yeah, for sure. Unless people want to come on stage and defend this season of Salt Lake City, then we
Yeah,
can do it live.
actually, open casting call for
Yeah.
that. If you have something positive to say, please, again, I'm asking, come let us know. If you want to come up here, we'll gladly duke it out because
Yes.
I don't want to say that your opinion is wrong,
I
but your
do.
opinion is not right.
Yeah, I do. I'll say it. So just be prepared for that. If you be
Mm-hmm.
prepared to defend yourself.
Another part of Potomac that I liked was when they cut to Ray during the show, and
Yes.
I think it was Wendy was like, "Look at Ray's face," and Ray just had this like doofy smile.
Ray's Ray's cute. I like Ray.
Yeah, it was funny, but it wasn't like a too heavy a Potomac episode. But
Mm-mm.
I liked the Wendy thing. I liked how Candace handled herself against Ashley and Snuffleupagus, and overall, I'm interested to see how this next trip goes. I would love to see maybe like Wendy getting along with especially Robin and Giselle a bit on this trip.
Me too.
I would like to see some interaction there. Um, I want to see how the other women react to Mia and Jacqueline fighting because to me, that seems like it would be like if Florida got in a civil war and we were just like, okay, you guys are out of the country completely. Like,
Yeah.
we're 49 states now, and
I
it's
mean,
like, it's
I'd be
fine
fine with that.
because they're like, and
No,
like
sorry,
because they're
Florida.
like on the edge, we don't, like
Yeah.
you're okay, we aren't like losing someone from the heart. Like if we were to just take out a middle state and be like they're not part of the country anymore, we have this random ass country in the middle of our own country.
I mean, I'd
That's
be
how
fine
I
with
feel
that too.
about this,
Yeah.
is like if we lose like Mia and Jacqueline, it's like an outside.
Just float away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not interfering with everything else.
Yeah.
Although it does seem like Giselle and Robin are taking to Mia a bit.
Which I don't really understand, but okay.
I do. It's because they're getting the drama from her. Like,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just don't care. Like, I don't care about her relationship with Jacqueline. I don't care.
mm-hmm, same. All right.
Well,
Well,
that's it.
next
That's it
week
for
for
Potomac.
Potomac, we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. Last but not least, and I'm so excited, we finally officially get to talk to
Mm-hmm.
Miami, where we've both seen it. We're both watching,
Yeah.
and how do you like? Because you've now seen everything except for like parts of season one, which again, season one doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Miami as a city
I
in the
love
Real
it.
Housewives franchise?
I love it. I was telling you right before we started that Matt, my partner, he used to watch Housewives with me a lot. Like we used to really like it. Like I liked it first, obviously, and then when we got together, he started watching it, and that was back like, in my opinion, like the highs of Housewives when it like wasn't what. There's no BravoCon. There's no like
Mm-hmm.
Salt Lake City where people renting their houses and fake cars and whatever. I mean, maybe there were, but it just wasn't so obvious. And it just felt like it was more real. Like there were real relationships on the show. Now it's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot. Some of it's really heavy. Not everything's a Potomac where we're having fun. And Miami is like that. And he was saying that too, because like he's fell off from the house. He doesn't really keep up with most of the cities because he just can't stand anybody. But he watches Miami with me and he's like, this is my favorite. Like this reminds me of like old Housewives. It's fun, it's funny. And I'm like, yes, yes to everything. I agree completely. It like takes me back to a place of like the glory days of Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
So
I love all of them except for what's her name, Nicole. She can go. I don't really care much for her. But
I don't
the
mind
rest,
her.
she just doesn't give me anything.
Yeah, I think she had a bigger season last season than she is this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Um, but there's just also, I mean, it's hard when like Lisa is kind of the focal point of this season,
Yeah.
and um, Nicole isn't exactly like close with Lisa like Larsa is, and
Yeah.
that I don't know. I feel like she's closer with Adrian, who is a friend of, and Julia, who like I feel like Julia's still kind of like figuring her way into that
Yeah.
other
I
group.
like
So,
Julia.
oh, me too, me too.
Yeah.
She's like she's a different type of housewife, and
Yes. And I like
that
that. They
like
don't all have to be the
yeah,
same type of person, which I really like.
yeah. So I had mentioned to you before that I have a theory that I think I've figured out why I enjoy certain things or certain seasons and cities more than others. And this is what I'm coming to, that Miami does an amazing job. And I think I had even told you this before you had started watching. Like when Miami has an issue, that issue is there for like 1 to 3 episodes
Yeah.
max, and they move on. The cities that are good, that are like taking the issue at hand, dealing with it and keeping moving, or just dealing with current things, are the more enjoyable ones. Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, if you think of like Salt Lake City, Whitney's blacking out from demons from her childhood. Like politely, you're dealing with shit and I get that, but like this is
Yeah.
not the venue for it. This
Mm-hmm.
is not, I get that you're dealing with it now, but we didn't see what happened to you. We did
Yeah.
not get to experience it with you while it was happening to you. And so, yes, this is big for you, but the viewers don't like, it's not we don't care, but like it's harder to,
We have no connection to it. And I'm not saying we want to
yeah,
see her be abused, but like we don't even know what,
no, no,
and she doesn't have
no.
to tell
Like,
us what happened, but we don't even know what like we don't know what happened. We don't
right.
really know. It's just like we get a very small sliver of what she's dealing with. So it's like, why do we have any connection to it? I get what you're saying.
Or you take like Beverly Hills, who is still fighting about things from like 3 seasons
Yeah.
ago. Um, I don't know, like the casts that deal with the present drama and leave the past drama behind are far more interesting to
Oh
me.
yeah.
And I think Miami, and I want to backtrack. I feel like that's why New Jersey was like good, because there was always like different things coming up, but like other thing, like history kind of tied into it,
Yeah.
but they figured out ways to get past it a lot
It's just a different
of the
vibe
time.
in New Jersey
Yeah,
because of the
different.
family stuff. So it's like
But
this deep seated, like
yeah,
just a hatred for each other.
but I think like this most recent season of New Jersey dealt with a lot of like things from the past that I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this wasn't as good as some of the earlier New Jersey episodes
Mm-hmm.
or seasons, where I think Atlanta does a great job of keeping
Yeah.
things current. Um, and Miami, I think, does the best job of it. Like their issues are issues for a small amount of time, and they like hash it out, get past it, and keep going.
Yeah, I think New York in its prime did a great job at this too. Like every 5 minutes, I feel like there was something different happening in New
Ramona
York.
was apologizing for
Yeah, all
something,
right,
and then
okay,
they
I'm
just
sorry. Yeah, okay, what? Yeah, and then it would just like move on to something else. But yeah, I mean, this episode of Miami for this week, when they were filming Adriana's music video, and then they're fighting, Gertie and Alexia are fighting inside, and then it goes from like just frantic arguing to like sobbing to hugging within like a 5 minute period on my TV. I was just like, this is like the most unhinged, but also most amazing like housewives fight, because this is what we need. We don't want it to drag out for a whole season. Like fight in a limo because Gertie's making faces and you said you are a star, and then like hash it out on at a music video where there's like some director screaming at everybody because they're losing the light, and like make it funny and we move on and it's great.
mm-hmm.
That's what we
And
want.
I'm going to
Etienne,
mispronounce. Thank you.
you're
I
welcome.
wouldn't have gotten there. Said Miami are actually friends
Yeah. And
mostly.
that's the key. And I say that every week, I feel like, is
Katie's,
the
yep.
key. They need these real relationships with each other. And even though there's like new housewives coming in to Miami that weren't around in the past, like there's still enough connection, it feels like, to the old cast. Like it seems like they've obviously been hanging out off screen in
Mm-hmm.
the first episode of season 4, they showed everybody still being like really close friends from when they finished
Mm-hmm.
filming to now. So it's like, okay, there's like stakes here. But when it's
Mm-hmm.
people that just don't know each other and don't care, like, I don't need, why do I care about your drama? You don't even know each other. I don't care.
Right. And I think we see that in the scene where Lisa has almost everybody sitting around her. Adrian and Julia are sitting at the
Yes,
counter
yes,
eating
yes.
food, being like, they're screaming at each other. Let's just pretend we don't hear them so we don't have to go over to them fighting. Like, not realizing that they're all
Yeah.
reacting to Lisa saying that her and Lenny are likely going to get a divorce
Mm-hmm.
because there's another woman in the picture. But like the way that they all genuinely rallied around her, you can
Yeah.
tell that that isn't because they are women cast on the same show to put this product out and that
Mm-hmm.
it's the right thing to do. It's people like, I mean, Alexia's reaction, like, I knew it. I knew there was another
Yeah.
woman the whole time,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't have that type of reaction
Right.
if you haven't been thinking about this for years. Like,
And they were
it's,
even just talking like in, I don't know if it was earlier that episode or before, like about all the women that come to the parties, and like it's like they know them and they can see these signs. And then you get the confessional of Marisol being like, I never liked Lenny. I'm just gonna say I never liked him. And it's like she
mm-hmm.
knows him, so she can say that.
While we're on Marisol for a second, what did you think of when her mom used to be on the show? I know we're throwing it
Oh,
back here.
rest in peace to Mama
Yes.
Elsa. She was great. She was great. I love Marisol. I know not everybody loves Marisol. I really love Marisol. I think she should be full time. I get she, maybe not. I think maybe the friend of role is good for her because like she just pops in. She can be funny, and I get like her cockies are a little over the top, and it's like a gimmick now. But I don't know. I love her. I think, but yeah, no, the Mama Elsa stuff makes me really sad. That whole season 3 of when she was sick, it's just really sad to watch it all. And then obviously what happened.
Andy said one of the reasons that it didn't come back for season 4 was because her mother wouldn't be able to film.
Yeah, she was a huge character back then. I
Yeah.
remember, like, because
Yeah.
I was watching Bravo back then, but I wasn't watching Miami, and she,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we everybody knew who Mama Elsa was, even if you didn't watch
Yeah.
the show.
Um, yeah, Marisol to me as a character is I how do I describe it? I think that Alexia gets to be who she is because
Mm-hmm.
she has Marisol. I don't
Yeah,
think that I think that Alexia on her own would not be as good of a character on the show
yeah,
without having her there because you can tell like their bond does genuinely
yeah.
run deep. Like they are truly friends. They and just watching them interact and when they go from English to Spanish and
I love
just
that
how they
dynamic.
yeah, and they share this like deep rooted like Cuban connection as well
Mm-hmm.
and I think while she like the whole gimmick of like oh the cockies and like I don't want to go so far to call her a functioning alcoholic but she drinks a lot
Part of me thinks it's like, is this real? I don't know. Is it just for the show? I don't know. I don't really. I mean, it makes me laugh, so
I
I don't
think
really
it
care that much.
could also be like kind of cultural within not
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say Cuban but like the Miami scene is the Miami scene
Yeah,
like it's warm you're on the beach you're probably drinking a lot like
I would be.
um yeah that she serves a purpose she hasn't annoyed me as much this season as she did last season but I think it's just because I've like come to accept that
Mm,
this is who she is and what she provides.
yeah, that's fair. She makes me laugh. She gives me like old
Hmm.
school Sonia Morgan vibes before Sonia Morgan was like Sonia Morgan, you know, like when she was really
Yeah,
early on. That's the kind of the vibe she gives me, and I like it. She kind of like lightens it up.
yeah, I agree. What do you think of Larsa?
I love Larsa. I'm like obsessed with Larsa. I know,
I
and
wasn't expecting that.
I really love Larsa, and I've been reading a lot on like Reddit and Twitter and stuff, and I know like people didn't really care for her in season 4, and now she's like bringing it a little more in season 5. I liked her in season 4 as well, but I'm really liking her in season 5. She like her confessionals make me laugh. Her delivery makes me laugh. I just I don't know. I
Hmm.
like her. There's something about her that I just enjoy watching her.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I just wasn't expecting you to
I wasn't expecting it
be
either. I thought I
so
was going to
high up
hate
on
Larsa.
Larsa.
No, I really like
She
Larsa.
I do feel like I'm watching the BOGO version of Kim Kardashian, like,
Yes.
uh, and not in like a negative way. Like, I think Larsa is beautiful. I think she's smart. I think she's funny.
Hmm.
Um, I it just feels like you're the lost Kardashian. And like
Yeah.
I know that she used to be friends with them and that and like whatever happened happened and but there's a lot of similarities that
Oh,
sometimes it's
yeah.
hard to shake. But
Which
no,
Adriana will
she's
not let
funny.
us forget. What do you think about her butt implant? Do you think she's doing it just to, not her butt implant, her BBL? Do you think she's doing it just to like poke at Larsa because of how much shit she gave her for her ass last season?
I mean, that'd be a very weird reason to do that, but I don't
I
know.
don't think she's actually going to get a BBL. Maybe. We'll see.
I wouldn't put it past her.
True. That's fair. That's fair. This music video, this episode was like truly one of the most unhinged and like hilarious housewives like sequences that I've seen in a long time. Like
The
I miss this
director,
like comedy. Yes, this director like was not having it. It was just so funny. It was just so funny. He's like, no one's listening to me. No, no drinks. No. It was just so funny.
clear the background. And
Yeah.
when he's like, and even the day before when they were supposed to show up for the dance practice, he's like,
And
"What do
no
you mean
one
no one
came.
showed up?
Yeah.
How are they
And
going
then
to learn the
Kiki left to like
dance?"
go have chips while they were, or whatever she went to go
Hmm.
eat. I love
Yeah,
Kiki, by the way.
yeah, they have like their whole cast is just so good.
I want to know more
They're
about
friends of.
Kiki. Like, I don't know anything about her. She's just like there, but I want to know more about her. I really like her.
Yeah, what do we know about her?
I
She
don't know.
like
She's
hangs
like
out with
almost just like
Larsa.
there for comedic relief, but like I want more from her than that.
Hmm. Yeah, I've never really thought of that we don't really get to know much about her.
Can I state my
Um,
unpopular opinion?
Go for it.
I don't really like Lisa. I mean, fuck
I don't know if
Lenny.
that's unpopular, but
Okay. Because I obviously I knew about the Lenny thing before I watched, so I was expecting to
mhm.
go in and be like, oh my god, I love Lisa. I can't believe this piece of shit. But like, I'm kind of like, well, I don't really like Lisa. But obviously Lenny's a piece of shit. Like, I'm not on Lenny's side. But like,
Mhm.
I'm upset for her, and I think what he's doing to her is horrible. But like, she's not my favorite.
No, um, I can agree with that. I think she kind of is the housewife of the
Yeah,
housewives
yeah,
of this. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
I think that she's there to portray what the show originally was,
Yeah,
where like women who are married to money and have get to live this like life of luxury and um more often than not don't have to work and
mm-hmm.
their main responsibility is to make sure the nanny is looking after the kids and to like
Yeah,
look good for their rich husband to come home to and who can like eat sushi off of them if they want to. I just saw that
yeah,
episode of Below Deck where the gay
yeah,
men ate the sushi off of Bruno. But anyway, um, so I don't know why that was stuck in my head. She kind of like fills that role.
yeah, yeah.
She
No, I
also
think
like
you're
she
right. I think
brings
you're
some
right.
drama and stuff, and like
Yeah, I
she
don't
also fits
dislike
the
her.
like
She's just not my
in
favorite.
Miami. Yeah, but I even if she's like the lowest on your Miami power ranking of housewives,
Mm-hmm.
I mean she's like
She's higher than
she.
basically
I was
everyone
gonna
in Beverly Hills except for Garcelle and Sutton. And
yeah, I
Crystal.
was
I
gonna
like
say
Crystal.
she might be in like the top 50% still
Oh,
of like the
yeah.
current housewives,
And I love
and
her friendship with Larsa. Like, I like that we're
mhm,
seeing, like, the fact that they were fighting early in the season about her and Lenny having a mortgage, and now, like,
mhm,
Larsa's her biggest supporter. I like that. Like, that
yeah,
feels like real to me.
yeah, absolutely. And that Larsa is like the one being like, yeah, we're gonna go to F1. Who cares if we run into Lenny? Which
Mm-hmm.
they
Which
did.
they did. Did you see the video?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if it's Lisa that posted the video. Someone posted the video of that interaction at F1 with the girl licking her lips. It's there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
out there.
it's
Queens of Bravo has it. All the accounts have shared it, but
okay.
it's she did lick
I'll
her
look.
lips. That was the truth. The girl looks like a completely unhinged, like monster person. Like, you're not okay.
Well, I don't ever think it's like the responsibility of the other woman to not be the other woman. I think
No,
that
I
like
agree.
it is the person who is cheating, their
I agree.
responsibility to not cheat. Um, it doesn't mean that
You have to be an
you
asshole.
have to, yeah, act the way you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's so tough to with for Lisa in this way where like Lenny knew he's mic'd up,
Mm-hmm.
talking to
Mm-hmm.
one of his friends, saying all this, and because it's her divorce isn't happening just publicly, it's now
Right.
also a storyline in a show, and there's parts that she probably didn't know
Oh, yeah.
until
Watching. Yeah.
episodes like 1 through 4 dropped. And that's kind of crazy that like to have to go through the divorce privately and then also how to deal with it publicly. Like Lenny denying that they're getting divorced in this episode is
Yeah.
crazy. Like, so
Yeah.
you have like your at home shit, the public shit, and then now you have to deal with it as it's being aired out in a
Right.
TV show. Like, that's it's not an easy place to be. And
No, not at all. Not at all.
but Lenny has his whole side to it. And while I'm not saying I don't believe it, or maybe there's some truth to it, like just shut the fuck up, Lenny.
Literally just stop talking. Just stop talking. Stop being in
just
all the
shut the fuck
comments on
up.
Instagram. Like, just shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Like, don't you have surgeries to perform?
Yeah, please go take your
Or
girlfriend out
like
to dinner and
a
stop
new, yeah,
talking.
exactly.
Yeah. But good for Lisa. It seems like she's with some dude that looks
Hot dude.
much more attractive than Lenny.
Hmm.
So good for her.
Yeah. Are we forgetting any? Oh, we haven't really talked about Gertie. What do you think about Gertie?
I like Gertie. I don't really have that much to say about Gertie, but I like Gertie. I think she's funny. I think she brings a good
Hmm.
energy to the show. I think her facial responses and like how she reacts to things are very funny. Like that, I guess where were they in the Keys when she was at the table and just like making all these crazy reaction faces. She's funny. I don't feel like her husband's kind of like, I don't know. I saw a lot of people talking on Reddit that they think there's like issues in their marriage. I don't think that, but I just think that he's like excessively quiet, which is fine. I mean, we know that. I don't know. I don't really have that much to say. Good
She
for her for
explained
like
that
being a
about
badass
him,
though.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they've been also together for like close to
Like high
30
school or
years.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Since
they've
high
been together
school.
for like 27 years. So
Yeah.
for us to see them on a
I know.
season and a half of a reality TV show, versus 27 years, like I don't know, he got down on his knees and like rubbed lotion on her legs this past episode. You don't do
Yeah.
that for people you
No, you
don't
don't.
like.
He brought
So
her a coffee or whatever, lemon water, whatever she
yeah.
ended up wanting. Yeah, no. No, I like her. I think obviously she's a badass in her business and she does a great
Hmm.
job. I think it's kind of lame of like Alexia to be like, "Oh, well your charity kind of sucked." So like you're wet. I mean, that's all just dumb and they moved on from it obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I like everybody. Nicole's the only one that I'm just like if she was gone I
Yeah, we
wouldn't
didn't
even
really talk about her.
notice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only negative is when you have not just they don't have like a ton of housewives right now. How many are full time? Is it five, six? I can't
Nicole,
remember.
Gertie, Alexia, Larsa, Julia, I think.
Yeah, is Marisol? She's not
She
full
is
time
not.
this season.
No, Marisol and
She's
Adriana
round
are
up.
not.
And then you
And
have
Gert and Kiki is
Kiki.
not. Yeah, and Kiki is friend of.
Is that everyone? So there's 8 of them. But that thing is like the
Yeah.
friends of are so strong that
They really are like in every episode adding to the storyline, which I love.
yeah, it's hard to like I can see why we don't get a lot of Nicole when I mean like she's leaving the trip early because she does have to go work a 24-hour
Yeah.
shift and like I given I respect that or whatever. So
I don't like
um
her husband.
there's a lot online about like they're gonna be the next like Judices essentially.
I'm
Like
not
their money is
surprised.
shady.
I'm not surprised. I mean, they seem like their money is shady. I haven't dug into it at all, but it seems shady. Like you have a plane? You're a lawyer. Like lawyers don't make that much money that you can have all. I don't know.
And I mean she makes stuff money too, but wasn't she also married to someone or was
I
she
think
she
so.
dated someone?
I think
who
she was
was
married previously, but I don't know who she was married to.
I started reading the article, but then there was so much to it, and when I was reading it, I just didn't have the mind. It's there's a whole thing. I'm not even gonna
Oh,
try to
I'm
get
gonna have to
into
do
it.
some research because I have not.
I forget where I saw it, but actually, you know where I might have seen it? I sent you the that Reddit thread of like
Oh,
conspiracies,
yes,
and
yes, yes,
I think it
yes.
might have been linked within that, like within a
All
conversation
right, I'm gonna go back to
that
that thread.
that happened within there. That Reddit thread was a very interesting read, and I think that's
Yes.
why I was like, I don't have time for this right now because
Yeah.
there's still a bunch of comments I gotta read, and I do not want to read like a whole expose on this dude who was like murdered. So,
Oh, he was murdered. Oh
um,
no, that's Julia's ex-husband, which I did read that article.
oh,
That's
Julia's
Julia's
ex-husband.
ex-husband.
Okay, never mind, never
And
mind.
then the whole thing with the nurse and killing her baby and then just disappearing. Oh my God, what a horrible story.
Yes,
Horrible.
yes, yes.
Horrible.
Yes. Okay. I mixed up Julia and Nicole then. I take back part of what I said.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Julia's ex.
Yeah. Um, no, but I mean, I love watching Miami. I was so excited because I turned it on last night and I thought I only had one episode to watch. And then when the next episode started, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I
Oh,
get another
nice.
hour of Miami.
That's what
And
that's
then
all I
I tried
want is
watching.
the whole season at once.
Yeah, it's
Such a
good.
breath of fresh
That's
air.
it's one of the things I miss about like not having to podcast about it is being like, or when I was catching up, was like watching 5, 6 episodes in a row and
Yeah.
just getting to see a whole bunch of things, like kind of like what I'm doing with like Below Deck right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but overall, Miami, really enjoying it. Salt Lake City about to be done, and Potomac is just Potomacing. They're doing their thing as always.
They are the most consistent. Gotta love
Hmm.
them.
So we'll drop Salt Lake City soon. We will pick
Thank
up New
God.
Jersey.
Thank God.
That me, if you think about it, this might be the strongest time of like Real Housewives to have on together. We're gonna have
Once Salt Lake City's
Potomac,
over, yes, I
New
agree.
Jersey, and Miami
Yeah, I
all on
agree.
at the same time.
And then I'm sure Ultimate Girls Trip is coming soon. It feels like it
It
has to
has to
be
be.
coming very soon because we're gonna
Yeah.
have Candace and Giselle. Maybe they want to wait until this season is over so we can see how the Candace and Giselle stuff plays out and the Whitney and Heather stuff
Hmm.
because those two obviously are still feuding, or those four are obviously still feuding,
Yeah.
respectively. So maybe that's why they're waiting. So probably once
Yeah.
Potomac is done, or at like reunion time, we'll probably get Ultimate Girls Trip. So probably
Yeah.
soonish. I feel like this cast trip is probably going to be close to the end of the season.
Yeah, because would there be any other seasons that would be starting soon? Because like I don't think
I don't think
there's gonna
so.
be a lot left of Potomac.
OC maybe soon.
Uh,
No, I'm ready. We have Tamara back. We have Taylor Armstrong.
I don't need Taylor.
Well, Vicky in and out. I'm
Uh,
ready. I have high. I know I'm gonna regret these words, but I have high hopes. I have high hopes for the next season. It'll at least be better than the
timestamp this.
shit that we sat through last season. There's only up from
One
there.
1 hour, 37 seconds, or 37 minutes and 50 seconds
In
into
episode
episode
41.
41
Yeah.
that Katie said
High
she has
hopes
high
for
hopes
OC.
for Orange County.
Hmm.
I can't wait for us to replay that one back.
Yep.
Um,
You can nail me on it later when it's horrible.
no. All right, well, I don't think I have any other housewife stuff to bring up.
I don't think so either. I don't think I have anything. I did see actually on, but I don't know if this has much of an impact on you because you don't watch Winter House, but I did see that Giselle was out on a date with Jason from Winter House on like Bravo and Cocktails Instagram page.
Oh,
I didn't dig in to see if this was like reported elsewhere, but there's a video of them sitting at a table together, which is a very weird pairing. And I'm tired of these Summer House, Winter House, Southern Charm people infiltrating every show on Bravo. Like, please leave us alone. Leave us alone. I love the shows, but like stay in your little bubble and let the housewives stay in their bubble.
no cross. It's like how athletes shouldn't date the like they can't date like the cheerleaders for their team or
Yeah,
like the
it's
sideline
conflict of
reporters.
interest.
Yeah, I mean, over in Red Sox land, um, someone famously got traded because they
Oh,
started dating the sideline reporter.
oh
Yes,
boy.
but they're married now and have been
Oh,
married
all
for
right. So that worked out.
a long time. Um, yeah, I'll get into, I think my overarching goal is to just conquer Bravo. When I say I
Yeah.
am cruising through Below Deck,
No pun intended.
I yeah, well done. That was
Thank
so
you.
good.
Thank you.
Um, I'm not joking. I only started watching the Captain Lee seasons within the last 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm on season
You
6 right
started
now.
with those?
So I started watching the one that like literally just started airing.
Yeah.
Is it Adventure or whatever? The
Oh, I haven't
Norwegian
watched
one?
Adventure yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But the
I've been
theme
watching
song of
that
it
as
gets stuck in my head all the time. Or whatever's in
I
the
couldn't tell
commercial.
you.
It's like
Yeah, I don't even
below
know.
deck adventure. It's like that's like how they advertise it. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but it's always in my head. Always.
um yeah, so I've been watching that as it comes out weekly. And then I've just been watching only like the Captain Lee ones. And then I'll
Yeah.
go to um is it
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean?
Can't
Is there any
wait.
others?
I can't wait to talk to you about Captain Sandy.
I've seen, I think I've told you this. The reason I wanted to get into Below Deck was because um, Southwest, which I know is like a
Mm.
controversial brand right now.
Hmm.
Sorry, my credit card's with them, so I still got to
I
support
know.
through and
You
through.
have
I
to,
got over 100,000 points to fly with them, but I
if
might
you
need
can
to start looking
get a
into.
flight.
I'm
That's the challenge.
I'm hoping that they've figured their shit out.
Yeah.
So, Southwest offers free like streaming for TV, certain TV
Mm.
channels
Okay.
on their flights, and Bravo's one of them. And more often than not, Below Deck is on while I'm on these flights,
Great
and so
plane
I'll be
show.
able to catch. Oh, absolutely, because you
I
don't
watched it on
need
my way
to
home from Romania, the
Romania.
last Mediterranean season.
Got it. It's perfect because like you can just pick up season 4, episode 7, and not
Yeah.
have seen seasons 1, 2, 3, or any of the episodes of season
Mm-hmm.
4 and still be entertained by it.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I've like seen these random episodes. So actually, like I think I can't remember who I saw in like an upcoming, maybe it's like I don't know if someone gets brought on because someone gets fired or whatever, but there was someone that I saw in like a preview for the season. I'm like, oh, I've definitely seen an episode of this guy before. Like, so I know I've like seen this
Okay.
man. I'm not sure. So
Okay.
I don't know. I That's why I wanted to get into Below Deck, but it's just so easy to watch and it's fun.
It's great. It's a great show. I've loved Below Deck for a long time. I fell off for a little while, but I'm back in. I'm back in. I'm caught up. I think maybe there's a season I missed somewhere, but I don't think so. I think I'm caught up. I haven't watched Sailing yet
What's
or
Sailing? Is
Adventure.
that another
Below
one?
Deck Sailing, yeah. I think
Oh,
there's only two or
okay.
three
Then
seasons of Below Deck Sailing. It's supposed to be
okay.
good. First season I heard is not great, but the second and third season I heard are good.
It
See,
also
there's a whole
reminds me of
universe. There's
working at,
also Below Deck Down Under, I
yeah.
think, which I have not watched. Oh God,
I'll
so I'm
just
not caught
search
up. I'm not
Below
caught up.
Deck and
Yeah.
then watch all of them. But it's also one that like my partner tolerates at best.
Mm-hmm.
And I say tolerates loosely because something will happen and then he'll just yell like at the TV at me about like about it, and I'm like, I'm I don't know what you want me to do. And
Yeah.
he's like, wait a second, you're watching old seasons of this? Like this isn't even current?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, how am I supposed to watch a current season and not know what's happened in the past season?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, these are isolated where you can do that, but like, you need to know the
Yeah.
history.
And
There's usually at least
so
one person that comes back from a previous, aside
yeah,
from Captain Lee or Captain Sandy.
they catch me with that because I'll
Mm-hmm.
watch the reunion. I'm like, okay, now it's a great time to go to bed. But I'm like, no, I need to watch the first 5 minutes of
To see
the
who comes
next
back.
season to see who comes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I what do you think of Kate? What is your Kate
I'm obsessed
opinion?
with Kate.
She's
I'm
perfect.
obsessed with Kate. She's amazing.
I
She's
cannot wait to
everything.
see her
I'm
on
obsessed.
Traders.
I can't wait either. I'm going to be rooting so hard for her. I cannot wait. I love her. I have loved her
If
forever.
she's
She's one of my favorites of all time.
if she's not a traitor, she it's a waste of her talent.
I agree. I agree. Kate needs to be a traitor.
I don't know if you saw my tweet, but like
I did, I think.
when when she more or less murdered um Jen, the stew, when Jen was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"You've been whoring around for much longer than me," and Kate, without missing a beat, without any remorse, no emotion in her voice whatsoever, goes, "How old is your daughter again?" Was perfect.
Yeah, no, she's
Like
incredible. She's incredible.
perfect. Oh
She's a
man,
savage.
yes, absolutely. So I'm excited to see her on Traders.
And I
She
love her
better be a
relationship with
trader.
Captain Lee.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've totally derailed from Housewives, but it was
Oh,
all
good.
Bravo
Oh,
related.
bravo.
So I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
All right.
All right. Well, Katie, what are you doing on the internet? You streaming?
I'm streaming. You can find me on Twitter at RealSomeKatie if you'd like to follow me there. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSomeKatie with an underscore. We had a great conversation about Jen Shah yesterday. But I pop in a couple of times a week. I'll be there, so check it out there. There's a bunch of silent podcast stuff coming up soon. I will be talking with Isaiah, which I can't wait for, about Big Brother 11, which is like one of the messiest seasons. So I can't wait to talk about Technotronics. That's coming up, I think, next week. Not this coming week, but maybe the week after. I don't know. Soon-ish. So check out that. I haven't been on one of the Big Brother reviews in a while. Most exciting is that we will be covering the Traitors along with Javier starting Tuesday. We're going to do a cast review and reveal kind of rundown, and we're going to do a draft with our special guests. Josh and Isaiah are going to come on and draft with us. They won't be on the regular coverage, I don't think, but unless they want to come on, they're more than welcome. But they are going to draft with us because 20 people for a three-person draft is way too many cast members. So I'm really excited for all the Trader stuff. We're going to probably do 2 episodes per podcast. We're just going to have to figure it out because obviously they all drop in one day. So look for that starting next week. I'm really excited about it. And I think there's going to be some pressure cooker coverage coming up that I may be a part of. I think Jason is going to run it, but I'm excited to talk about that. We have the challenge, lots of stuff coming up. The lull is over.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the lull is over. Oh, there's so much TV I have to watch. But I just put on Below Deck instead. That's also been an issue
I
where I'm
know.
like, I know I'm going to enjoy watching Below Deck more than I am like this episode of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So let me just watch Below Deck instead. It'll be a future problem. But
Yes.
I'm KGD26 on the internet. I'm currently private because I am applying for a different job on my team. And my like the job application, not the one that I had to fill out, but the external one, asks for your social media, which like who in their
Oh,
right mind fills
no.
that out?
I don't. I give my LinkedIn. That's it.
So my LinkedIn is like connected through Lurie anyway, so if they want to find it, they
Oh,
can.
okay. There you go.
Uh, Not that I just mentioned where I work, but aka the place where I work, they can find it. So I'm not like I'm not concerned about that, but just
Yeah.
like I'm gonna be private until whatever happens with this. So ask to follow me, and if I don't accept it, it's because I don't recognize who you are. But
Yeah.
just wait for me to go on private, and then
Yeah.
I won't even know. Can't stop you. Um, for podcasts, Katie and I are going to be talking about the challenge tomorrow, and then I'm supposed to be covering the circle, but it's just been hard to schedule things.
I was
So
going to ask you if
maybe
you're
we'll
doing the
talk about it.
coverage.
Yeah, I was supposed to, but then Isaiah had a Big Brother podcast, and then the other one, there was scheduling issues. So um, we'll get around to it eventually, I guess, is really what it is. Sorry for
That's
dropping the
how
ball
people
on
feel in
that, but
general about this season of The Circle, I think, is eventually we'll get to it. Maybe. So it's okay.
yeah, like I think people are like enjoying certain characters, but I also just wasn't really looking forward to the idea of like it's based on being single, and like
Yeah.
flirting is my least favorite strategy on the
Me too.
circle. So like I haven't watched these episodes that I've dropped yet. This past week, I watched the first weeks, and maybe we'll just do like an end of season conversation about it. Because the other part is like it dropping 4 episodes at once, and this
It's
is why I'm
hard,
kind of
yeah.
like upset with how Traders is running with dropping all of
Mm-hmm.
them. It's just not podcast friendly,
It's not.
and to like drop it during this holiday season. Not that like I do things on the holidays, but it's just been like a weird time for me overall. Like
Yeah, it's a lot going
I
on.
haven't want to sit here and talk on a computer
Mm-hmm.
for
And that's
about
fair.
this. So sorry.
We
If
have
you were
jobs,
looking forward to
everyone.
that, I'm so sorry. That's also true. My job has been kicking my butt. And of course, like my classes start back up on Monday. So but yeah, in conclusion, we might have a circle conversation at some point in the near future. And then I'll be doing traders with Katie and Javier, and I think that's where my coverage ends. I think. I don't know.
That's where my
Whatever.
coverage
You can
ends.
find me on these streets. It's fine. But where you can find us is on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. So if you want to follow us there, I don't know why you wouldn't. You can find us at Silent Podcast. So search. We are at silent_podcast on Twitter. So keep up to date with what we're doing. In those places, you can also listen to us in podcast form, which is on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. So rate, subscribe, review, 5 stars or no stars. I was explaining to a coworker because we had to create like a promo video for this like
Mm.
project we're doing. And she's like, we've gotten 7 reviews. I'm like, they better all be 5 stars. I tell people on our podcast that if it's not a 5 star review, that just don't leave one. Just don't. Come
You're so
back to our
brave to
next
tell your
promo video.
coworkers that you have a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
mention a thing to anyone. No one knows my true identity.
it's just like a lot easier to lean into my personality than to
Mm-hmm.
like, because then, especially at the beginning of like this new job where, um, like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So
Yeah.
uh, then I could just like easily mask all of my, um, I was never like anxious about it, but I'm not good when I don't feel prepared. And it's like,
Yeah.
at least with this new job, I'm currently like taking a couple classes on my own of like software that the e-learning designer
Mm-hmm.
would use or does use, so I can just like feel better about it. You can't do that with like the computer software we use for the patient portal because all of it's so protected so that
Yeah.
like other companies don't steal it. So like I just felt like an idiot for maybe the first like 6 months of my job. So I really leaned into being like the personality hire of my team.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. I definitely get that.
So when people are like, "Oh, reality TV, blah blah blah," that it's like, "Oh yeah, I talk about it. I love it." Well, also I had to tell my boss because I had to leave early to podcast with Melissa at that time. So,
Fair. Totally fair. Totally fair.
so yeah, they
Valencia said
know.
no one knows Shady Katie, and no one knows Shady Katie. I mean, in ways. Some
There's
people,
shady
very
work,
few.
Katie.
Yes, there is a different version of Shady Katie that appears at work. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, people know, and I just hope that they don't listen. It's like fingers crossed that you
Mm-hmm.
don't try to find me on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
That's it. But all right, well, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week to talk about this stuff. And then if you are interested in the challenge, check us out tomorrow.
And check out the
Or if
traders
you're
coverage.
interested in watching Traders,
You should be. There's a lot of
one
Bravo
last
overlap.
just one last plug for Traders in general. Having watched the
Yes.
Australian version and the UK version, the challenges are stupid. I will 100% say
Yeah.
that. But everything outside the challenges is so good.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Agreed.
easy to watch, but
Agreed.
it's also interesting to watch. And every episode of these shows that I've watched has been like there's at least one like, oh my God type of moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you've been waiting for the US version, I hope you watch. It's on Peacock.
Yeah. It's
We'll be
going to be
talking
great.
about it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. So you'll see a lot of us in the upcoming future. But until then, thanks for listening, and we will catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.